And this is a trip out with the truck I did an estate sale, and it also turned 100,000 miles. The old truck's in good shape for 100,000 miles. Yeah, I went through a little bit of mud. But yeah, the interior's in nice shape. No rips or anything in it. And this is what I went to the estate sale for. And I'll do that saw's from up north. I'm going to use it to trim out my windows in the garage. But yeah, 30 bucks. Got a paint shaker. So it looks like I need to stand it up because it's got oil in it. And so I'm going to do that right now. I laid it over as I had the tonneau cover down. But yeah, it's mid-December and it's about 65 degrees out right now. Crazy, huh? See how it's leaking a little oil out of this. These things sometimes have gearboxes in them. I'm going to take this all apart and clean it up. I did check it at the sale. It does work. But yeah, I don't know. It might need a new plug, maybe a whole new cord, but it totally works. Take the sold tag off. That's the tag. But anyway, that's something I've been wanting for a while. Every time I go to sales, when there's one advertised, they're always sold. So this time I went and I actually got it. All right, let me get the truck in. Then I'll have to clean it up in the truck for now until I get some help to get it out. Check this out. Close to 100,000 miles on my 13-year-old truck. Yeah, my phone isn't as good for doing this kind of stuff as my GoPro. There we go. Here's under the hood of the truck if you're at all interested. It is a 4.6 liter. The only thing I've had to do to this truck was I had the, and you may hear this again, but I had the Ford dealer replace the intake manifold. It was leaking coolant into this front cylinder. The reservoir was going down and I couldn't find any coolant leaks. And then I noticed a little bit of seepage around this thing down here. And I took it into the Ford dealer and they said it was a common problem. They gave me a ridiculous quote to replace it, and I told them to do it, but it had a crack in one of the runners. And so they did cover that, seeing I'd complained about rough idle when it was new under warranty. And they were never able to fix it, but the manifold fixed that rough idle. Anyway, there we go. Well, this is the paint shaker. I got it out of the truck. I got to clean it up, but I checked the oil in it. And I put about a pint in it to get it up to the full mark. And you can see somebody made this stick and put this in here. But the place where I went and got this guy looked like he had really, you know, kind of made stuff work and took care of it. He had probably 3 or 4 old Sears Suburban tractors that were complete and good running condition. Some guy bought them all. And but anyway, I put about a pint of oil in that to get that up to the full mark. Obviously the original stick, something happened to it, so he just kind of made this, and this works, and it is marked. And I tried this at the estate sale. I'm not going to buy something like this without testing it. It was actually still plugged in. The cord was zip tied to the conduit towards the outlet, so I had to cut the zip ties. And I oiled the screw here, so this turns easier. But I'm going to clean this machine all up nice. And but you know, as much as I paint stuff, every time, you know, sometimes paint sits around for a while, and then I go to paint and it needs shaking, and especially metallics. You know, you can stir them, but nothing like shaking them. So anyway, I've been trying to find a paint shaker reasonably priced. Usually when I find these in estate sales, they're like $75, $100, and usually they're sold by the time I get to them. Well, this was kind of tucked in under the edge of a bench, out of sight. It had stuff piled around it, so I don't think a lot of people saw it. Plus I went on first day early and waited in line, which I rarely ever do unless it's something I really want. like this paint shaker. Usually I go second or third day, or last day, but because 90% of the time there's nothing I really need. I just enjoy going to them and occasionally buy stuff. But this I've been wanting. There's one other thing I want. This is one of these metal drawer units. I had one in my work step van, and I'd like to get another one to put, stuff like you put in parts drawers in, but they're bigger. And so eventually I'll find one of them in an estate sale. But now that we got this, let's try it out. Let's put a can of, see if I can do this all one-handed here. Tighten that up enough so it doesn't fly out of there. And then it's got a timer here. So you turn it, it looks like it'll shake up to 60 minutes. Holy mackerel. I don't think I'd want to shake it that long. So it works. This needs good cleaning up. Hopefully it doesn't leak oil, like I say. That was pretty low, but if it leaks oil, we'll replace whatever seals are necessary. Obviously it lubricates the gear case underneath this cover. So there we go. We can shake paint now without having to run it to a paint store. I might start cleaning this up. Maybe we'll do a little video of it cleaned up a little bit. I don't know if it'll be in this video or not. We will see. But after it runs a while, and that timer comes down, turns off. And then you can turn your crank. And take your paint out. That's probably nicely shook. This is gloss black. Let's see if I can. Hopefully I don't launch a can in the garage, but I just want to make sure it works like what it's supposed to. And it does. Yeah, that's not going to go anywhere. That's in there nice and tight. I've seen paint cans come out of shakers. Yeah, it's not pretty. But anyway, there we go. We got a paint shaker. So basically, I'm just taking a putty knife and scraping the heavy stuff off. And then I'll go back around and wipe it down with some lacquer thinner, in certain areas. And then wipe it with motor oil. Motor oil is a real good cleaner too. WD-40 motor oil. They clean things up really well. But I'm not going to make this thing look like brand new because I'm going to use it and it's going to get, stuff on it again. And I just want to, just kind of make it a little more presentable so when I walk near it or brush it, I don't get all greasy and dirty. But yeah, I definitely mix enough paint around here to warrant having something like this. Yeah, look at all that. That'll clean. This machine's going to clean up all right. So anyway, I don't want to get grease on my camera. I'm just going to go around and kind of get all the stuff off and then do a little video when it's done. I gave it a level 1 tighty. You can hear the timer. I just turned it on a moment. Can you hear it? Yeah, it definitely works, and the timer and everything. And I cleaned this all up. A little oil around here. I gotta just put oil on all that moving stuff, so the screw doesn't seize. But yeah, I cleaned all the paint that was in these grooves, so the cans, sit in there nicely. And same with the top. And I was just wondering if this thing will shake rattle cans. Well, you saw me shake a quart before I cleaned it and a gallon jug before I cleaned it. I don't know if this thing even opens up enough to put a rattle can in it. Oh yeah. Don't want to tighten it down and break the plastic cap and have the rattle can fly out. I just want to keep the excess oil wiped up from things, you know, paint and oil don't go together well. But anyway, that feels like it's in there pretty good. Let's see if it flies out of there. I think I'll step aside. Alright, I'm going to switch it off. I don't need to shake a rattle can, but obviously it will do it. So that's kind of nice. Shake anything I want now. Yeah, so this thing's pretty decent for what I paid for it. It cleaned up alright. There's the tag now that it's clean. Yeah, the camera's reflecting on it. Sorry. One thing I noticed when I was cleaning it, the little doodad for the belt tension has been brazed, but who cares? It works. I think we got a nice little paint shaker. So when I'm, you know, all my restoration projects, the amount of paint I need to leaf or something, need to shake and whatnot, that'll save me a lot of running back and forth to the paint store. You know, in the past I'd just run to the paint store and they'd throw it on their shaker for a few minutes. You know, if the paint had been sitting a month or so, I'd rather have it shook before I stir it. I still stir it, but give it a good shaking. That ensures it's all mixed up. Another thing, here we are in the middle of December. It says 64 on the thermometer. That's nuts. And then the garage, I usually keep the heat set at 60. Look at that. I don't know if you can see that or not, but there's what it's set at, and I don't know if that'll go there. That's what the temperature is in the garage right now. You know, because of the heat of the engine from the truck, probably. I lubricated the casters on this, so this thing rolls around nicely now. I mean, I can easily move it around the garage. What a difference that made. And I'm going to put a new power cord on it eventually. You can see the plug is, you know, the way this guy had this thing zip tied to the conduit, that was a pretty sharp angle there. And there is some cracks in the outer insulation of the wire. So probably what I'll do is next time I go to the hardware store, I'll buy a 3-prong and short extension cord and just cut the male end off and wire it into the motor like this one's wired in. I mean, you know, it's often cheaper to buy a extension cord than it is just buy a plug and some wire to make up a cord. Another thing I want to add, yeah, sure, I could have taken paint stripper and cleaned the paint off here, taken this assembly off and thrown it in the bead blast cabinet. I could paint all this up like new, but I'm going to use this thing and it's going to get spatters on it eventually. You know, sometimes when you hammer the lid on and there's paint in this edge, and I'm sure it'll flick it around on the machine. You know, I'll do my best not to make a mess, but it happens. So I'm not gonna, you know, restore the machine. I just cleaned it up and want to make it usable and use it. And that's kind of the way I'm going to leave it. Now this thing weighs a ton, so I'm glad it's on that board with casters so I can roll it around. This thing's all cast iron, and I bet you that thing weighs 150 pounds anyway. It was all I could do to get it out of the back of the truck myself. And there we go. It looks like it's leaking a little oil out of the seal here, so I think I'll probably take that top off and reseal it eventually. I just went and looked to see if I had some sealer. I would have popped this off, but I'll have to wait until next time I go to the auto parts. Just pop this. There's 4 screws it looks like holds that on, and then I'll just put a new bead of sealer around that. That's probably why this was all oily and that was all oil soaked. You can see the sealer here, and then it ends there, so it's pulled out, and then you can see it here and around. Well, it's oily there, the sealer too. So it looks like they might have used the improper sealer or something, but we'll fix that all up. I ended up fixing the oil leak. I found some sealer, popped this top off, cleaned the surface, put some new sealer on it. If the sealer doesn't hold, I'll make a gasket, but I think the sealer was holding. It was leaking right in here really bad. It's been running 4 or 5 minutes now, and I don't see any leaks anywhere. So I think it'll be fine. Just threw a can of Rust-Oleum in there just to put something in it to run it to check for leaks. And the thing surprisingly had about 2 quarts of oil in it. I used my marine oil changer here to suck the oil out of it, and then I put new oil in it. Cleaned it all out so it's got nice new oil, and it just looked like regular motor oil in there. It didn't look like any special lubricants. So it's full on that little dipstick thing, and all looks good. I set it for 10 minutes. I don't know how long it's, let's see. I'll add it out and then just flip in where it stops. Yeah, I also noticed the seal right here is leaking slightly, and there is a national number on it. I just can't focus on it and read it right now, but I'll stop at Bearing Services tomorrow and pick up a seal, and just take these 2 bolts out, it looks like, and this will slide off, and I can pop that seal out, put a new one in it. It's not even in correctly, and it's kind of dented. I don't know if that shows up right there or not, but anyways, whoever replaced that seal at one time didn't do it right, so we'll put a new oil seal in there so it doesn't leak any oil. But that's the only thing. It was just seeping a little. This was getting oily as it was running, and then it would run down. Sitting here stopped, it doesn't leak. But we'll change that seal, and that'll take care of that. That is the number. It's a national seal, and that is the number. So I will go pick up a seal or 2 tomorrow. So I'm going to end the video here. If you like the video, definitely hit the like button. It certainly helps in getting more views and whatnot. And if you like my channel, please subscribe by hitting that 348 engine icon that pops up there. And thank you for watching my videos.